Everybody. In a previous video, I showed you the Pear Deck lessons that are part of a Google slideshow where the students then can go through and they could answer questions about whether balls are in play or fair or foul or force for a tag out. But I want to show you that maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you just want to use, let's say, the images that have been created as a quiz in Schoology. So right here is the link to the images, and there's a couple different ways you can download them. You can either right-click each one and then click download, and it will download as a JPG, a JPEG file. But one other way to do it is to do a whole download, and it'll zip the files up and download them all at once. So let's say I'm going to make a quiz about whether or not the ball is fair or foul. So I'm going to click the first one and then click the last one. This is just a generic foul ball area, so I'm not going to include that one. So I'll do the same right click and then choose download. And so you can see it's creating a zip file. And in a few seconds it'll begin to download. So once it downloads into Chrome browser, if you click this little arrow and choose the option to show in folder, right here is that zipped file that was just downloaded. So I've created a folder where I'm going to store my PE images, and so I'm just going to drag this zip file into the PE images. And then when I'm getting it in here, I just right click it and I say extract all. And the default is to put it in the same folder, so I'll click extract. And so there it is in this folder, but I'm going to close it. So here is the original zipped file, and here is the folder with all of the images in it. I don't like this name, so I'll just right click and choose rename, and I'll call it fair or foul. And if I want to, I can just delete that. Now here are all of my images. So now what I can do in Schoology is then I'm going to go into my example Schoology course. I'm going to click on add material, and I will add a test or quiz, and I'll call it fair or foul. I will give it a due date of, let's do it in September 20th. I will make it a formative assessment. For the purposes of this video, I need to choose this grading period, and I'm going to leave it as it's weighted as 1, and I want it to be a numeric score, not a rubric. And let's see, I plan on putting 2 pictures. I want the answer fair or foul plus an explanation, so that's 2 times 4. Let's make it 8 points. So they'll get 2 points per image, and then I'll click create. So now that we're in Schoology creating the quiz, I'm going to click add a question. We do want this to be a short answer question. So you're presented with an editing box, and in this button right here will insert content, and we want to choose image, and I want to attach a file, and it takes me to my PE images. I'll open up the folder fair or foul. This is, I guess, the first one, so I'll open it up, and as you can see, it has the question embedded on it because it was part of the image that was created, which is pretty great. I want to change this, make sure it's 2 points each. If I want to attach a learning objective to it, I could by using this button, but I'm not going to do that right now. And there's no rubric, so we're not going to do that. I'm going to click on create question. And so I will just go through that same process with each of the images that I want to upload. It remembers where I was. I'll just add that. Okay, now that I've created all 4 of my questions, I need to do a couple more things. I need to go up into the settings, and I could do instructions such as look at the images and read the question. It's important to turn on that we are enabling the submissions. We could also choose enable it from now until a certain date. We could choose enabled for a future date until a certain future date, but I'll just turn it on for now. We can choose a time limit. I'm not going to do that. We can also have students attempt it multiple times, up to 20. we'll just do one time for now, but that's really good if you want to have students go back after they do some relearning of what they've missed in the first time and then take it again. You can randomize the order if you want. Page breaks means each question will be on a different one separate page. I'll just put them all on one page for now. And if you want to let them review their questions, they can go back and do that. Resumable might be a good option to choose. So if there is a fire drill or they run out of time, it might be something that they could just, they can come back and pick it up where they left off. Otherwise, they will have to start all over again. If their Chromebook loses power or any number of things. And they could then view the submissions with the correct answer. This is not a multiple choice question, so it's not going to really help them. If you wanted to print this out, there's some options down here, but I'm not going to talk about that. So I'm going to click Save Changes. And so I can, if I want, preview. By starting a new preview attempt, the answers are not going to be saved, but this is pretty much what the students are going to look and see. They're just going to scroll down, look at the picture, read the question, and type their answer. Now, if the question was not already in the image, then as you saw when you created the question, there is a box to type the question. And I'm not going to save changes. So now I just need a student to take the quiz, and I've got a student account set up here, and I am going to click on whether or not it's fair or foul. We're going to stop a new attempt, and we'll just I'll just type in some answers. Okay, now that I've answered it, as a student, I'll just click on Submit. We'll say, are you sure? You say yes. Okay, so now I go back to my class. I then come and check on Gradebook, and I see that, let's see, I got to select the correct marking period, and fair or foul. The student got 6. I can flag it to mark it with an exception. I could add comments here that only I see, or I can have the students see. And then if I click on that, it takes me to the results of the student. So that's how you use these images for a quiz in Schoology if you don't want to use them for Pear Deck. So I hope you find this helpful, and just let me know if you need any help with this. I'll be happy to help you set it up.